Hello, math students. Welcome to Module 1, Ratios and Proportional Relationships. This is Lesson 7, and it is called Representing Proportional Relationships with Equations. Our goal for today we are going to learn how to write an equation that has a constant in it. The question that I want you to think about in this lesson is, how can the unit rate be used to write an equation of the proportional relationship? Okay? Things to remember. Proportional relationships have a constant. So remember, the constant is the same number that gets multiplied by every x value, every input value. The constant is the amount that the x value changes to get the y value. So remember, you have to multiply the x value by something to get the y. So here's your x. You're going to multiply it by something, and it gives you y. That's what I mean when I say that, okay? So the common equation that mathematicians have come up with is this. Y equals m times x. So there's some really important vocabulary words that you have to know. And so it says important variables. The y is the dependent. It's the output. So here's our table. Remember, we've been working with tables. It is the output. Okay? The y is the output. It's the dependent. The output, the dependent, it depends on the x value changing. So we have to do something to the x to get the y. The m is the constant, and that's the amount that so we have numbers going all the way down, 1, 2, 3. So remember how we always drew this? It's whatever each one of these is multiplied to get our new y value. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So the m is that number. This is the m. X times the m. 1 times the m, 2 times, whatever is the numerical value, that's what the m is. So the constant is the same number multiplied. Same number multiplied. Okay? So the m is the same number being multiplied. It is also known as the constant. This is how the x value changes because we're multiplying it by x. And then the x value is the input or the independent. It is the value that gets changed. So x is the number being multiplied. X is the number being multiplied. X is the number being multiplied. So it's the input, and we do something to the input. So this is counted as the m, this is the x, and this is the y. And remember, we're multiplying everything in the box by the same number. That's the m, okay? So hopefully this is helping jog your memory a little bit and you can remember it. So here's a task to help us. Your mother has accelerated onto the freeway. You notice that the low fuel light is on. The nearest gas station is 26 miles away. Here is a table of how the car's gas mileage works. So we know that this is the input. This is the output. This is the x. This is the y. So the x is the gallons. The y is the miles. And that makes sense because if you have 0 gallons of gas, you can travel 0 miles. If you have 8 gallons of gas, this car can travel 224 miles. If you have 10 gallons of gas, this car can travel 280 miles. If you have 4 gallons of gas, this car can travel 112 miles. Okay, so we need to know that for the rest of our task. Let's see what the rest of our task asks us to do. It says, will you make it to the next gas station? How far away is the nearest gas station? 26 miles. Okay, so I'm going to copy the table over here so we can see it. So gallons, miles, and we have 8 to 20 to 24. Ooh, sorry. We have 10 to 280. We have 4 to 112. And then it says that we need to go 26. will you make it to the next gas station? Well, to be honest, the only way we're going to know is if we can figure out how much we can travel on just 1 gallon. But the only way we can determine that is if we find that there's a constant. So I would like to first see if this is a proportional relationship to see if there's a constant. So how do we do that? We always take the y divided by the x. So remember, this is the y and this is the x. So we're going to take 224 and we're going to divide it by 8. We're going to take 280 and we're going to divide it by 10. We're going to take 112 and we're going to divide it by 4, and we're going to hope that this gives us the constant amount. So let's see. So 224 divided by 8. Can you see me? Okay, I'll move that up. So 8 can't go into 2 evenly. 8 can go into 22 2 times. So that's 16. Doing some math here. So that's 8. 1 minus 1 is 0. Leave that off so it's less confusing. This is 84. So now can 8 go into 84? I don't think we did enough. Well, we had to have done 2. Oh, that's because Mrs. Nelson can't subtract. 12 minus 6 is not 8. 12 minus 6 is 6. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. It's time for me to be done with math. All right, for tonight. 12 minus 6 is 6. Bring down your 4. 60. That's much better. So that would be 28. Come on, Mrs. Nelson. Get it together. Okay, so that's 28. So now let's do the next one. 280 divided by 10. Well, we know 10 can't go into 2 evenly, but we do know that 10 could go into 28 2 times, which is 20. And 8 leftovers. Bring down your zeros. So that's 8. Aha! Look, guys, it might be working. Okay, let's check the last one. 112 divided by 4. So we know that goes in 2 times. That's 8. 32. Yay! Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. We have a constant, everybody. What is our constant? 28. Yes. So this is 28. This is 28. This is 28. So if I put a 1 right here, what does this have to be? A 28. You're right. So 28 is our constant. Fantastic. And if you remember what we learned earlier in our different lesson, we learned that the unit rate is the same as the constant. And so we now know that the m is 28. Cool. So let's go back. It says, will you make it to the next gas station? All right, let me read it again. Your mother has accelerated onto the freeway. You notice that the low fuel light is on. The nearest gas station is 26 miles away. Here is the table of how much the car's gas mileage works. So we know that on 1 gallon, she can travel 28 miles. Can she make it on a half? Well, I'm going to say probably not, because a half times 28 is only 14. And 14 is way smaller than 26. So will she make it to the next gas station? I don't know the answer to that one yet, but can she make it on a half a gallon? No. A half a gallon only goes 14 miles. Do you guys see that? So we figured that one out. How far can you go on 6 miles? Okay, so if we continued our table down here, we know that gallon, miles, and 1, you can go 28. So how do we do 6? Okay, well, remember our constant was 28, so our constant is 28 here. So then we have to do 28 times 6, which is 48, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 6 gallons. How far can you go on 6 gallons? 168 miles. Okay. How much gas is needed to travel 504 miles? So if we want to go 504 miles, and we know we have to multiply it by 28, so what is that? So we would say, what number times 28 equals 504? So now we have to take 504 and divide it by 28. Whew, that seems tough. Okay, so 28 plus 28, 16. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Too much, 56. So it has to only one time. Ooh, scary. Okay, so that's a 4. That's 2, 2, and 224. Well, we already know that that's 224 is 8. So this would be 8. So 64, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There it is. All right, so that's 18. So that means that it would take 18 gallons to travel 504 miles. What is the constant? Everybody on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 28! We're multiplying by 28. Write an equation for this task. Okay, so we have the x value times the constant equals the output. So we know that equation because we learned it in the last video. So if we have a specific amount for our constant, which we do, 28, 28, 28, 28, it's everywhere. So our equation for this one would be x times 28 equals y. That's the equation that we would write for this task about the freeway. Will you make it to the next gas station? I guess my only reason why I can't answer that question, if she has 1 gallon of gas, yes, she will make it because 1 gallon takes us 28. But if she has less than a gallon, then the answer is no, because it would be probably less gas would make it not 26, and so you wouldn't make it if she has under a gallon of gas left. Does everybody get that? All right. I hope I didn't go too fast. I hope that within these videos you guys are starting to understand how to find this stuff. It really isn't hard as long as you remember everything. So our goal for today we are going to learn how to write an equation that has a constant in it. We did that. X times 28 gave us y. Yay! How can the unit rate be used to write the equation of the proportional relationship? The unit rate is the constant. The unit rate is the m. So that's what you need to remember. Another name for constant is unit rate. Another symbol for constant and unit rate is m. So m is the same as the constant, which is the same as the unit rate. That's what you have to remember. All right, kiddos, that's all I have for you today. Talk to you soon. Bye.